Okay, tonight we're going to actually be working on putting down flat back sequins onto something, and so this is kind of what it's going to look like. You find it a lot of times on old stuff with metal sequins in particular. These are actually vintage style foil sequins. I think they're probably plastic or something. This is what you get. This is what they look like loose before you tack them down, and this is how they usually come. They'll thread them up, and you find them kind of corded up in a little roll like that. What you're going to need to do this is some thread. Usually when you're using the metal sequins, which is usually preferred just depending on the size, but you're going to have like a heavier cotton hand quilting type thread that you're going to use. This time, since these are a little bit smaller, I'm using a color that's a little bit closer to them, and it's just a regular sewing thread, so it's a little bit thinner than the hand quilting threads. You always use a little bit of beeswax to condition your thread. You got your scissors for when you need it, and then just a regular sewing needle. You need to make sure that the needle is big enough that it's going to be able to go through the sequins themselves. Sometimes they'll get up to the eye and they won't go all the way through, so you're going to want to be able to string them. So with all those materials, that's really all you need. In this particular situation, I've already taken some thread, I've doubled it over through the needle and tied a little knot at the end. Just like regular hand stitching is going to be required, and this is all it's really all you need to do this. When I get started, I usually just take just enough of the cloth to make sure it gets a hold. I'm going to take it down to the knot, and then what I'm going to do is come up from underneath it, right on the outside edge of where I want the sequin to lay down. So I'm going to kind of work it so at that point the knot's there in the back to hold it down. This will kind of cinch it up a little bit, give it something to hold on to. And then I'm going to take one of these. There's actually kind of two different directions you can go with this, and this is not the only way to do sequins. This is my preferred way to do flat sequins. Maybe in a later project we'll do a cup sequins with a little bead on the inside. But I'm going to put the sequin where I want it, and at this point I'm going to put my needle right through the hole. I find it's easier to go through the hole from the top than it is to come from the bottom. But I'm going to basically pull it right through, make sure it's where I want it, and then the next step is to come up from the back side on just outside the sequin, and then I'm going to go back down through the hole again. And that's really all there is to it. It's just going to flatten it down, cinch it up, and then you're good to go there. And then you take it a step down again for the next one, and you just progress all the way down as far as you're going to go. Now you have a choice as to how far you want to space these out. You know, that's just kind of an eyeball thing. Sometimes you can put them right next to each other end to end. Sometimes you can put, you know, a big gap like an inch or something between them. But that's kind of up to you and how you want it to look. But you know, once you get it, you just get yourself into a pattern of getting it so that it's nice and evenly distributed. Keep an eye on your thread so it doesn't, you know, bunch up or anything. A lot of times doing this, the thread will actually get kind of twisted, and as you get further into the project, the more twisted it'll get. So a lot of times I like to kind of keep it open, and I'll run my fingers down through it just to kind of make sure everything is working like it's supposed to and not getting knotted up. So that's all there really is to it. So now that we've done a couple of these, I'll just keep going on down until the end of the row. When I get finished, I'm going to come on the back, and I'm just going to take a bite of that cloth, take a couple nips, maybe 2 or 3, and then tie a knot, tie it off, and that's all there is to it. That's what it looks like on the back. It's all synced up. It's not going to fall out. It's just real basic, easy, fast hand stitching. So that's all there is to that. That's going to give you that result. You can make it go in all kinds of directions, straight lines, curves. You can applique sequins like that, and that's all you're doing is just coming back and cinching it down, and that's all there is to sequins. Thanks for your time.